I'm Peter Kell, Commissioner at ASIC, and welcome to the FPA series on bulletproof advice. Conflicted remuneration is at the heart of the FOFA reforms. It's all about aligning the interests of the advisor with the interests of the client. And remember, when ASIC looks at conflicted remuneration, we're going to be looking at the substance of the benefit, not what label is applied to it or the form. We're going to be looking at the substance and whether therefore the benefit could actually influence the advice in ways that create conflicts.
There are three things advisors need to know about remuneration. Number one, there's client-directed remuneration. Number two, there's third-party payments. And number three, there is grandfathered payments. Client-directed payments is any payment that is calculated either as hourly, fixed, or asset percentage based, and they are not conflicted. Number two, third-party payments are any payments flat dollar or volume based that are paid by someone other than the client. They may be conflicted. And number three, grandfathered payments are all arrangements that are in place up until 30th of June, which can continue after 1 July. The recent ASIC consultation paper, CP189, has presented a number of issues for the FPA, in particular ASIC's position around asset-based fees. The key point there is that it's quite clear that asset-based fees as a form of calculation of fees is not conflicted. You can charge a client those fees. However, there is an issue in respect to whether or not those types of payments can be passed on to a financial planner in respect to rewards such as bonuses, salary increases, etc. In our opinion, the law is quite clear that it's not conflicted when charging the client, so therefore it should not be conflicted when passed back on to the advisor. The clarification we'd like to see from ASIC is that asset-based fees, or the calculation method of asset-based fees, is not conflicted both in the form of collecting the fee and charging the fee to the client, and the use of those fees being distributed back to financial advisors either through bonuses and or salary increases. The FPA Code of Professional Practice can help advisors with their conflicts. Effectively, they need to avoid all conflicts. If they can't, they need to disclose and manage them. In addition to that, we have some remuneration principles that can support advisors. Effectively, they require that the client actually pays the fees. The client is able to compare those fees. The fees are actually separated between advice and product. And finally, the client can actually turn those fees off.
Conflicted remuneration is when there's a bias over one product over another, and it relates to getting some kind of remuneration reward for recommending that product. An example in a business that I previously worked in was when we were buying and selling shares for clients. The business would receive a 1% commission. So every time an action occurred, we would get financial benefit for that. The perceptions for the community is around the fact that advisors are they giving me the best advice? Am I getting, hand on my heart, the best advice, or am I getting what's going to achieve the best outcome for the advisor and the business? And that is the biggest perception and problem that the community has in dealing with an advisor when it comes to conflicted remuneration. From the advisor, I think there's a personal conflict as what's the client's needs and is this the best product for them, as opposed to my family getting benefit for a better financial outcome for me recommending X product over Y. It's good for consumers because they know hand on heart that they're getting the best outcome and that it's not, the advice hasn't been tainted due to remuneration outcomes for the advisor and for the business. It's about public perception. You know, you go back to doctors. You walk into a doctor, you hope that you're not getting the prescription for a certain medicine over another medicine because they're getting paid to recommend that medicine. Exactly the same with planners, and even more so because we're not the most popular in the press over the last couple of years. So any excuse for the press to put planners down then is a bad thing for planners. So it's about being a professional, having a professional. Being a profession is around removing as many perceptions around conflicted remuneration as possible.
Financial planners need to deal with what they can control with right now, and that is, number one, they need to be transitioning their business model from the old commission structure to a fee-for-service model. They need to be reviewing their value proposition, determining the costs of their business, and determining what pricing model they'll be applying to their clients. And they need to be doing that now in preparation for 1 July 2013.
Licensees and the advisors that work for them will need to have in place adequate arrangements to manage conflicts, and that includes arrangements in place to ensure that their remuneration structures are not going to generate conflicts that are prohibited under the new FOFA rules. If you want to look further at the detail around this, please go to our consultation paper that's out there at the moment, and we'll be releasing final guidance in February next year.